Wasn't me.
It wasn't you, okay. I was just asking you if you had coffee today.
No, I don't drink coffee.
But
I mean, I kinda, but with milk.
It's good. Coffee with milk is good.
But I don't drink regularly.
You sound like you could use a coffee.
Maybe. Overall, I'm very pessimistic about everything. That's how I roll.
What everything? Oh man,
I mean,
Dynite.
I think it's
Dynite,
better
this
to
is
be.
emergency. We need you. You have to cheer up Legend.
I think it's better to be pessimistic than optimistic. Because
Ah,
if you're being optimistic every time, like you expect things to go on like nicely, and you know, life isn't like that.
well, I will assist you in your process of immigrating to Germany.
A lost son.
We lost son. Wie Einwanderungsamt
Immigration.
is a difficult.
Office?
Yeah.
As with a Portuguese passport, I will get in easily.
That's true. But oh, I'm residency, permanent residency. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't know much about it.
But I think you pause. What's the European situation like? I think you can stay indefinitely in another European country, or can't you?
As a European, yeah.
Yeah. He's from Portugal. You know where Portugal is.
Yeah, I was just listening to what you're saying, so I was not thinking about anything besides that. It just affirmed your. Yeah.
Further recommendations, if you're like in a pessimistic mood. Northern Germany is far more pessimistic than southern Germany. And if you're really feeling it, then go to a city right next to the border to Denmark in the northern side called Flensburg. Yeah, it's very windy. It's rather cold and often raining, like English weather. And the weather is so shit that they actually invented a bicycle that uses oncoming wind to power your bicycle. They have like a big fan above that uses the oncoming wind to power your bicycle. That's how shitty the weather is.
GM, everybody. What's up?
GM Taki.
Hello.
Hello.
I was trying to catch up on the immigrations discussion.
Taking notes.
We figured out that Legend doesn't need this.
I'm special.
You have the power of a European passport.
Okay. So for our discussion today, not many topics actually. We should try and have some progress in the discussion about the criteria for the Saga phones, which I think might help us also have some progress into the emissions discussion as well. Because I've been thinking about those two topics, and I think they more or less, they are in parallel lines, so to speak. So the criteria that we might set for the phones might be many of the criteria that we might set for the emissions, at least the way I try to approach the issue. I would really like to hear everybody's thoughts on this. But as I wrote on Discourse for the Saga phones, for example, I think some minimal requirements should be should revolve around, being a top class holder, having a significant on-chain activity, like having put up at least, I don't know, 2 successful proposals in the past 6 months or something. Having received emissions is another thing. And any other factors that we can't measure or that we can and should measure. What do you guys think?
I don't think we should focus on the proposals.
I don't know, as if all the requirements I don't fit in any of them. And I think I consider
got
myself...
emissions.
Huh?
You got emissions, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, only
the problem with emissions, the problem with emission is that we haven't had many emissions apart from the infamous community management emissions lately. It's been a lot of months since we had, proper emissions, and I don't think that the emission situation in the past, let's say 3-6 months, resembles the reality and the value of contributors that should be receiving a phone, which I'd like to view it as, a thank you from the DAO to people that have contributed and went and have gone out, above and beyond for the DAO, and possibly having been with us for a long time. Every criteria has its pros and cons. That's why I'd like to hear what criteria would you put, for example, and if it would be more than one, or it's going to be a pool of people, with the top criteria, and then we move down the ladder. That's the same approach basically as the emissions discussion.
I think or there need to be more than like 1 or 2 criteria.
Absolutely, yeah.
At least in my view.
And yeah. So, for example, let's say, sorry to interrupt you, but I'm just trying to explain my thought process. For example, I mentioned, being a top class and having received emissions and having put up proposals. These groups, people that tick these 3 boxes, for example, should be higher than people that tick 2 boxes. And in that way, I think we're going to reach to a conclusion and a list that, should reflect the reality of top contributors in the DAO. It shouldn't be, you tick all 4 boxes or else or not. Just to explain myself.
Yeah, I think I get what you mean. Like, for me, it's also something like someone who was constantly active, or at least is here on a regular basis. And I don't. For me, it's not like a weekly thing, but who has been around for some time and is constantly or someone who comes back to us, and then there need to be some form of metrics that we take, like has created a proposal or has done XYZ, has had a role. Like it's like not don't have to tick every box, but one of those boxes needs to be, or 2 of those boxes needs to be ticked, and like in combination with being there and attending calls and something like that, that would be like a thing I could see us doing it that way, because this is something that is important for all of us, right? You want to have active members and people who participate and like don't just like passively consume and attend a call and never give anything to the DAO. And the initial idea was to like give phones to members who really did work within Grape and not just every Grape member, right?
Yeah. I think we are filtering out many people with the requirements of being a DAO member and a Neanderthal. And if those two are fulfilled, I think we can be a little bit more lenient. So let's say high attendance or having held a special role.
I mean, like something being a Neanderthal through like receiving emissions for having done or having had any role. This would be some form of like checkbox that I could see, because just the part of being a Neanderthal in itself wouldn't be sufficient for me.
What about poll voting? Like the DAO members decide if you are eligible to receive or not. Or even on-chain voting. Like,
That's tough. That's tough because it's like it's like absolute. I'm more in favor
okay,
of
not
like
on-chain because it's
discussing.
more.
Yeah, I am more in favor of discussing the criteria, and we are okay with that. And then apply it to everyone who requests a phone. Then voting, quote unquote, on each person. So maybe it's a good idea to like that everyone basically creates a list of things that they deem important, and then we formulate something together.
I think that the point of the discourse post is that exactly. I haven't seen any participation there besides, I think, Dynite, Tariq, and myself, and Nanko, I think, lately. I think it would be very useful if we see in written, the criteria that people think are
Yeah, you're right.
important or consider that they're that important. But I would be very happy if what we come up with reflects the reality that we have. The reality. Reality is subjective, of course. Reflects the notion that we have for the list of people that we're going to end up having by putting together any kind of criteria that we are going to decide all of us together should reflect the reality, and don't see any names in that list that may have you think as a DAO member or as a community member, why is this guy here? Why? I don't think they belong there. So
Yeah. I mean,
what do you feel as a consideration and contribution from other people should be reflected in the criteria that we choose? That's my goal here. I think that's where we're going to be successful in creating a list of people with the criteria that we put together.
Yeah, and I think we also need to be aware that like there will be members where it isn't like that obvious or easy. Like for me, it's something like, because I like both guys, Barn Dog and Metaverse Explorer, but did we see them around lately? So like the last months. So it's
there's a great difference between the two names that you mentioned. Barndog has been active voting in all proposals. He's active in the Gaming Council once more. Metaverse is no longer a great member. For Metaverse, for example, I don't even consider him in the list. He's not a great member, so there's no point in considering him as
right.
a
That makes it
candidate to
easy.
receive.
But again, like it's it's a tough. It could be like on a individual level. It could be a tough decision. Yeah, the list needs to be updated, definitely, Dynamite.
I'd already started crossing out names, but I think it's more useful to have the criteria in place, and then a list, should appear by itself. That's what I think. So, yeah, we can start crossing out names. That's the easy part, but it's I think it's better that we know we come up with a criteria and then start forming up a list. All experts, yes. We sell the phones. Which, by the way, I think it's a good idea if we raffle a couple of phones, or 1, 2 phones. I think that's a good idea. We have 50 phones that we have pre-ordered, so keeping one or allocating one for these purposes, I think it's not a bad idea. Ryder, I like the criteria that you've put out in the chat, in live chat. DAO member Neanderthal and one of high special role in DAO, blah blah blah, and high level of attendance. How can we measure the attendance for the past X amount of time? And what's the answer to X? What's X? Is it for the past 2 weeks, the past 6 months, the past year, ever since the inception of Grape?
Maybe it's just a suggestion. Everyone who is on this list or who wants to be on this list needs to provide reasons. This could also be something, right? So we have like a list of criteria that we want to see, and everyone who is on that list or wants to be on that list is responsible for providing like evidence of them matching those criteria or meeting.
Oh, so you're saying they should present any kind of evidence, but not
idea,
necessarily come up on stage and campaign for themselves. The reasons why.
No, it's not about like campaigning. It's like more we have a set of criteria, like something similar you mentioned in the post, or like what Ryder mentioned right now, and then people come and say, okay, I think I'm eligible for a phone because I did this, and that, and they provide like proof or evidence, because it's not on the DAO to like get the metrics in order to verify whether you should get a phone, right? And not you specific, Taki, but whoever wants to have a phone. It should be on the person, and they should like have the work providing something.
That makes sense. Then the DAO votes yes or no, based on the evidence you provided yourself. I'll go with that.
It's just an idea.
And I'm voting yes on that idea.
I would like this idea to have like proper guidelines for people what kind of evidence to provide.
Yeah, sure. That's why I mentioned like we have a list of
like slip into this campaigning for myself.
Yeah. We have a list of criteria that we want to see, but we aren't the one, or the DAO isn't the one who tries to provide every evidence that someone on the list meets the criteria, but people who want to come on the list need to make a case for themselves.
Yeah, but I think if people don't meet any kind of criteria, there's no point in hearing them out or allowing them to make a case for themselves. I mean, if you hold one grape, there's no point in and you have done nothing else. There's no point in hearing you out to make your case of why you should get a phone, because I don't know, you liked the last 10 tweets from the Grape account, for example.
Yeah.
I liked 11 past weeks. That's a different case.
11. Yeah, concerning what does attendance mean, I think during the last 3 months and above 50% attendance in Sunday calls. That's my personal thing I can live with.
I think
Because
that's something you can provide yourself when you like Pause said like you can if you provide your own evidence you can say okay I attended 86% of the last calls.
yeah.
Of course it kind of needs to be rechecked by someone.
Yeah, I just want to say. But I explicitly stated Sunday calls because, well, some people don't have time during the week because of a day job, and so I don't want to exclude anybody because they were working. So I don't think that would be fair.
Yeah, if I may be the devil's advocate, though, why is attendance more important than having the ability to post, to make on-chain votes?
It's just a factor to consider.
My model is you have to be a DAO member and you have to be a Neanderthal. And then additionally, you have to either have held a special role in DAO, like Agility Fund owner, Bounty Fund owner, or Gaming Council, or the attendance thingy. But you definitely have to be a DAO member and a Neanderthal.
May I add something regarding the attendance part? I think it's important, but I also mentioned that we should have like categories or for something similar. Like attendance isn't necessarily only 50% of like the last 3 months during the Sunday call, but might also be that someone listened to the recordings and made on-chain votes and was participating either in chat or in Discord, in discourse. So like we need combinations that work. But if someone didn't attend any calls and didn't vote and didn't write anything, then there is no point in having him on the list or her. But a mix, like a combination of things you did.
I'm also more in favor of a system like, okay, you have to have some activity on Discord. You don't have to post every day or whatever, but you have to have activity in Discord, and you have to have activity on voting, not like 80% of votes or something like that, but you have to have voted, and that you combine each category, but not with a high threshold. And if you fail the low threshold on any category, then you're out.
So does the GM channel count as Discord activity?
Like it's for me, it's like
it's not.
It's
history. History has shown us that GM can be considered as a metric in proposals.
You can only count one channel specifically, like only
for
DAO
me, it's
channel
like
maybe.
The category you meant, Ryder, wouldn't be attendance, but participation in DAO decisions or DAO live or whatever. Like it's not the GM channel because it's like a moot point to say hi and bye to, even if it's a nice thing. But if someone really provides something for the DAO, so in terms of participation in the forum or on Discord regarding specific things, and is like doing the on-chain votes, I wouldn't say he or she necessarily needs to be part of the DAO calls. So like they try to be part of the DAO, but maybe they can't attend, and that's fine. But it's DAO participation, not attendance.
In principle, I agree with you, but you're complicating the measuring, and That's exactly what I tried to alleviate.
But it's complicated because we can't see it one-sided. You mentioned like someone like you for you, and I know you like maybe didn't think it fully through, but you said
Probably
like
not.
Yeah, you said like the Sunday calls because people work on Tuesdays, but it's an assumption that everyone has time on Sunday. So maybe it's like a family like person who can't attend on Sunday calls. So we need to have a way that people can show that they participated in a manner that we want to see in a member, in an active member.
How about we start rather simple and we say, okay, everybody who wants it, we did this already with everybody who wants a phone can write his name, right? We did this already. And then we filter through our first requirement, which is DAO member and Neanderthal. I think we agree on that much. And then we see how many people we even have potentially. Then we can go from there.
But everyone who's not Neanderthal will just buy the.
Did we ask
Grape.
Did we ask people? Did we ask people to give out a name? I don't remember. Or did we put together a list?
We have a list with 33 names on Discord from Discord.
Yeah. I remember the list, but I don't remember right now if we put together the list arbitrarily, or it was from the workforce back then, or I don't think we asked people whether they want to get a phone or not. I'm not really sure. Does anybody remember?
I remember I had to type my name in Discord chat.
Yeah. We talked about the proposal when we made the proposal, like in July last year, and then people could say like, "I want to be on the list" or in case they thought that they might be eligible for the phone in terms of what we talked about then, constituting as eligibility. And that's how the list came to be, and I posted it. And Dean specified the first requirement, or what he thought could be a requirement, and which was having the 200K and being Neanderthal. And that's Sajal, that's why I said, or I think that we can't have like purely excluding criteria, but we need to have like a list of things that you want to see in an active member, and there should be like categories, like for me, DAO participation. And if a member ticks one of the boxes or two or three of the boxes in this category, it's like satisfactory for this part. The Neanderthal part could be something like, I don't know, something that measures how invested you are in the DAO itself. It's not necessarily monetarily, but how committed you are, like commitment or something like that. And for me, it's not only Neanderthal that could represent commitment, but it's certainly something that shows commitment. Even better if it's like, if you reached Neanderthal through payouts because you had a role.
Yeah, for example, people that have reached Neanderthal through getting emissions for their work, it should be a no-brainer, and should not by any chance, have we should not by any chance have any other people that above them in our final-ish list, because it's much more valuable to have been contributing and having reached to that level and not, selling and stuff like that. And it's another thing to, just go be any Neanderthal right now, which in my view, even though I don't really like it because it's an obvious way to game the system. You can buy to be any Neanderthal now and then dump the Grape as soon as you get the phone. It's fine. For me, I can live with that, to be honest.
Yeah, and it could be easy to like have this criteria, and like you can, and whoever thinks that he or she is meeting it can like provide the transactions. So like there are emissions. I have a list of emissions, and yeah, we only need to check whether it's legit or not. Granted, it's work, but then again, it's also money that we're spending, right? So
yeah, and to that point, I wrote in chat that I would like to not give out all 50 phones and see if we can maybe sell some of these reservation tokens, because as I understand, they were limited, and maybe we coop some of the money spent.
yeah, it's not about finding 50 people. It's about having a maximum of 50 phones to give people who are exceptional members.
Yeah. And let's say we give out like 30 phones, for example, just a number. When we can get 20 left, we can sell 18 and give Dynite 2 to do his social media wizardry and raffle them on Twitter or whatever. Get our follower counts up. Pump it up, Dynite.
It could also be like, and it's just an idea to have like 2 phones or 1 phone for people who maybe nearly made the list, right? So, and there is a raffle. So it's like, because I know it's not, there is nothing in life is fair, but if I like joined Grape 1, 2, 3 months ago, then I might be like might have shown that I want to take part in it, but you can't compare that to someone who is here like for the last 1 or 2 years. It's like, but we also don't want to discourage people, right? And it's still $1,000, right? It's not 10 or 20.
Yes. And on that note, there was a comment by Sajal, I think, about being a Neanderthal. Being a Neanderthal right now, it's 1/3 of the cost for versus getting a saga on your own. So
Yeah.
that basically means that it's one of the easiest ways to be very close in owning a saga at that 1/3 of the price. So that's what I think. We should start with at least Neanderthals and DAO members and see how many people fill that list, and then start going, start examining people that have held their role, which means they have been contributing, for example, NFT Council, Gaming Council, Bounty, Agility Fund owners, and so on and so forth. And yes, I can also see cases like Nanko or Sejal, that have been active members, have been contributing, but right now in our discussion we don't have a criteria for them. So what's more fair? Is it fair that they don't get anything because they're not with us for so long, or is there a criteria that fits them? These type of people. I mean, not these two people in particular.
Yeah, maybe it's like.
Can you update me on Nanko's specific activity?
Sorry, come again.
Can you update me on Nanko's specific activity? Is he like in the NFT counts, or what's he doing again?
Oh, he's not into the NFT Council, no, but he's one of the most active members in every DAO discussion, and I think that has some value on its own.
Yeah, that's why I meant like people who might nearly made the list could also have like a chance of getting a phone. That's what I meant. We could do something like a raffle or something like that, because as I mentioned, like it's a tough thing to join later than someone else, but being as committed, but there is still a difference. Like people who are here, like you, Taki, from the beginning, who is putting out constant work. Like you can't compare this to someone joining like a couple of months ago, even if they might be full of energy and commitment. It is what it is. So. And it has nothing to do that we want to we don't want to discourage people to participate. But then again, it's $1,000 times 30 or 50. It's like no, it's not just throwaway money.
Yeah, I understand this point, and I accept it, to be honest. Butter, I think you're asking any idea if we'll be getting the DVD ones. At the moment, the DVD ones are the ones that are available for us. If, let's say, we decided tomorrow, the mass productions are not out there yet. But I do know that if you got a DVD one, you will be able to exchange that for a mass production one as soon as they come out. But also Solana is under, there's a thinking, there's a thought around Solana that, people might want to keep the DVD ones, which from my understanding and from my knowledge, they will be able to function as normal phones. And they are in a more limited edition. There are only 4,000 of them, and each of them are numbered. And I don't think we can get, like, if we wanted 50 DVD ones right now. I think it would be along the lines of 15, 20 phones at the most.
Yeah, maybe a goal should be like for Thursday, like having a list of things that we want to see, and so everyone has time to think about it, and we then make a list and can discuss the list. Maybe not on Thursday itself, but have a list on Thursday ready that we then can like post in discourse, and people
Thursday
can
or
have a look.
Tuesday?
Yeah, Tuesday. Sorry. Yeah, Tuesday.
Okay, I will post on Discord, but I can't attend on Tuesdays.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
That's why I meant no decisions made on Tuesday, but like having something that we can present the DAO and then like ratify it.
again, I hear you, Shejal, but the thing is that if there's a finite number of phones and an expense that the DAO has voted to do, and yeah, it is what it is, and whether we like it or not, I totally understand your position, but I don't think if there's a list of, I don't know, how can I say it? It's very tough to be, above a person that has been longer, that has been around longer.
Yeah.
And it's not about, growing old in a DAO and so on and so forth. It's the way things, happen to be. There could always be another proposal, for example, maybe for the next saga phone or for something else. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not valued in the eyes of the DAO, but it means that other people, have done work and have been around longer, and these are the people that should be rewarded before any other kind of categories of people get rewarded as well.
Yeah, and that's why I mentioned the option to have like a raffle. If we have like 5 or 10 people that aren't making the list, and we have like a phone or two, it's still a good price, right? It's not, and point me out any other DAO that is doing something similar for their members, right?
I think there's only one, and I don't know how they're going through with the process. It's Epic style.
Hmm.
Epics.
Epics, yeah.
What kind of
Be,
DAO are they?
be, we had two members here. They were also great members, Kawasaki and Kishi. They have, they. I think we selected them as winners in the last hackathon that we had. Selected the winners as a DAO. They create a sort of a gamified protocol for resources for devs around Solana, something like that. Yeah, I don't think so that we should reserve phones for future DAO contributors. When and if we have that kind of pleasant situation, we can decide on another type of reward. It might be next year's breakpoint or something. It might be other things. I don't think we should be reserving phones, especially given the fact that it's a phone, and by the time we have another instance like this, it might be outdated, or Saga 2 might be out.
Yeah, anyway, we could wait just for Saga 2 to come out. Then we don't have the issue we are having right now.
Yeah, it's another 1000 phone. Okay.
Okay, I think yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to say that I think we have like a rough idea that we have on Tuesday, or we have a list ready on Tuesday, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, I agree.
Good.
Well, friend, you've been silent. What do you think about the criteria and the whole discussion?
Lovely internet friends. Welcome.
Hello, we missed you.
How are you doing, guys? I just came back from some trip I went, and I just tested positive on COVID. Woo!
Yay.
So yes, the phones discussion. I think you guys are in the right path. I like the fact that the criteria, but I think being too rigid on those is going to create problems. We need to be a little bit flexible. Maybe we could have like a committee that will thumbs up and thumbs down the people that are applying for the phone. I think trying to perfectly create a system that will qualify or disqualify members is pretty hard. Everybody, like, Grape has been alive for quite some time, and people come and go. People might be here now or might not be here in a month. So yeah, maybe they'll get the phone and they'll disappear. So I don't think there's any fail-proof way of doing it. I would be in favor of having some centralized committee. Maybe I'm very wrong on this one, so please don't hesitate to correct me. But I think that's impossible to have a system that will qualify or disqualify everybody. A committee is easier.
I think
Okay.
the committee here is the DAO.
What's the criteria going to be for the committee?
People that have been here for the past 2 years. I don't know.
Yeah, no.
Like I see people here that I would definitely trust them to be in the committee. I see CryptoPos, I see Legend, I see Taki, I see Ryder, I see lots of people that have been. I see Archimedes, I see Tariq, I see people that are here and have been here. Butter, everybody, all these Dynite, Eli, all these people are superstars, and we know all these people are going to be getting phones. So why not add them into a group and decide for the rest? And this is not some DAO board. This is just phones. There's no other. Just an idea, but I think it's the right path. If you manage to create the system that leaves everybody happy, which I highly doubt it, but yeah, why not? Maybe I haven't.
Nobody's ever. No instance keeps everybody happy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Never.
Exactly.
And
So
I
we need
think
to be prepared. We need to be prepared for people being upset.
Yeah. But then
And,
again, it's like being upset about not getting a free phone is like, okay.
maybe it's not about the phone. Maybe it's about the recognition that people feel they should receive. Maybe it's not the materialistic phone in the end of the day, because everybody has a phone. We're not waiting for the Solana phone to start using a smartphone. So I think it's more of the recognition.
I understand that. Then again, I fully stand behind what I mentioned earlier. There is a difference between people who are here from the beginning and doing constant work, and like a good example, like Taki and me. Taki, you did so much more than me, because one, I wasn't there from the beginning, and two, you're doing like constant work. I wouldn't say that I'm someone who is like slacking in terms of not participating, but there is a difference between us both, right? It's not that you someone can argue that away, and people need to see that things are as they are, right? So
yeah, maybe we can have like the Grape superstars and have a list. Have a list of who's who's the superstar, and then it goes descending, and the X first people get the phone, and everybody can chip in and change the ranking. I'm not sure. I think I'm disrupting by spitting out those ideas because you guys are already somewhere. You're already somewhere, and
a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm thinking it in a very non-decentralized way.
Yeah, for me,
So
it's the community.
I trust you guys.
is a certainly a possibility, but then again, it's like outsourcing the problems to like a smaller group of people. It's and as you said, there always will be people who aren't happy with any decision. So like I think if we do what we said, find a list, talk about it on Tuesday, then let the DAO decide with yay or nay, then we're going doing the best thing, or a good thing at least. So like
maybe we could approach this in batches, like do it slowly. Fewer people on the first round, few more on the second, few more on the third.
Then you will always have voices to say we need another round because they aren't on the list so far. So like it's
yeah, you're right. You're right. When you're right, you're right. So I can't. I back down on this one. No, I think you guys. I think that's the right plan. Yeah, I think that's the right plan. Let's get the list and talk about it a little bit more on Tuesday, and we can hear people's opinions and people's dissatisfaction if there is any.
I think that's a great segue to the emissions discussion. So, what could change in our reasoning when it comes to not one Saga, not 50 Saga phones, but 50 million Grape? Would the criteria be different? Would the reasoning behind that be different?
I think Grape is much more powerful than phone.
Absolutely.
And we can't have like centralized distribution. We need to spread it in the community.
Yeah, and like someone hoarding a lot of Grape and then having the ability to manipulate results, having the ability to amplify his voice, having the ability to dump the coin, and etc. I think that's much more powerful. We should be much more diligent with who gets that Grape and what are the criteria going to be.
So, for example, in the emissions/airdrop discussion, the on-chain activity, meaning proposals, having received emissions, having reached to Neanderthal level through receiving emissions, and so on and so forth, would definitely be in that discussion, I presume. Is that correct?
Yeah, I guess so. For me, it's regarding the distribution, would be more about having a long list of criteria and weighing them, right? And then, because like even if you have something that you can pull, like participation in DAO activities of any kind, like even the GM channel could be like something. So like Discord participation in general or something like that could be something, and this needs to be weighed because every little bit, for me at least, would be something that should be like, or could be potentially make you eligible for receiving some grape. But you need to weigh like how much grape you give someone. Like obviously creating a proposal should reward you a bit more grape than like saying GM in the channel, right?
Yeah, and I think one useful approach would be to approach this in tiers. So if it's going to be 50 million grape, and what's going to be, let's say, the most relaxed tier, the last tier. Let's say if we have 3 or 5 tiers of the amount of grape that is going to be distributed to these tiers. What would be the most relaxed criteria? Let's say it would be realms voters across all realms. It might be, I don't know, something else. Holders of projects that are using GAN.
Yeah, for me, like the best solution or like a good outcome would be that everyone who has done something with grape should really receive some grape at the end. Like if they were part of the community, or if they did something with like maybe Dean's lists or GAN. So everyone who had contact with Grape should at least get something. I don't know whether this is feasible, but I think this would be a good outcome in terms of distribution and allocation, or the group that should be eligible for some form of distribution.
Yeah, you bring up a very good point, which is what kind of metrics can we use that are implementable? Because we had that failure, quote unquote, or without quotes, when we voted for the reputation system, that we voted for the least implementable one. So we shouldn't make the same mistake, even if some things are much more useful or much more appealing or much more merit demonstrating than others. We should always keep in mind what are the kind of metrics that we can measure and have in a quantifiable way, so we don't fall into the trap of voting in a distribution model that we cannot implement. That would be the worst possible outcome for me, at least.
Yeah. I think this is a technical thing, at least most of the part, and we need to talk to like Kirk and Billy, what's even like feasible.
Yeah.
Because metrics that we can like use in our community or closer community, like on Discord and Discourse, this is something that we might achieve on our own, like with the help of Ryder and Archimedes. But if it comes to people who aren't part of the closer community of Grape, I think we need to figure out ways to even get any kinds of like metrics that we can use. And I'm not knowledgeable enough to make any prediction or estimation in this area.
Have you had any progress, CryptoPost, with organizing the product focused calls?
Yes, and I wanted to add this to the discussion, to the agenda for today. Like I posted a small screenshot. I will post the link later when we have time, talking briefly about it, because I didn't I didn't want to make a meeting just to have a meeting. I thought about a structure on how we can facilitate the meeting to come to any form of conclusion, and I saw that this can't be achieved in just one sitting or session. So I made two, and I like changed it a couple of times, and I played it through. But yeah, we can talk about this after the emissions part.
Okay, for the emissions part, what are the next actionable steps that we can take right now? Until Tuesday, let's say, or until next Sunday.
Aren't we emitting plenty with your plan of, well, emitting to main DAO members?
Sorry, Ryder, I didn't understand.
Aren't we emitting plenty with the proposal, with your proposal to take over the Discord ownership and reward DAO members?
What about my proposal? I didn't get that, sorry.
Well, you talked about emissions, and I'm saying we are emitting plenty of Grape with this proposal. Do you want to emit more?
We're not emitting anything because the Grape proposal didn't pass. Only the USDC proposal passed. That was a peculiar outcome. Yeah, I will propose again, but this will happen like in a couple of weeks. Because the initial, here's the thing, revolving around my proposal, there are certain issues that we need to solve, not problems that, you know. So the initial, my initial proposal was for a quarter, for 3 months. When I try to apply the numbers and come up with a compensation plan and so on and so forth, I discovered that that the community treasuries do not hold enough USDC for my proposal to be, you know, to be submitted. So this means that I needed to go to the council token holders and request that they top up the USDC community-owned treasury. So there was not enough time for that. That's why I trimmed the proposal to 2 months duration in order for the numbers to fit. After that, given the realm's technical limitations, there was no way to put one proposal for Grape and for USDC at the same time. So I had to put two separate proposals. And lo and behold, the strangest thing happened, that the USDC proposal passed and the Grape didn't. So the next logical step on this was to reduce my term for another month and then make a new proposal, which is what I'm going to do. at the end of this month or early February. So yeah, hopefully that proposal passes and we can emit some grape, but this is not nearly enough or resonant to the amount that we should have emitted by now. Because I think it's, as we all know, it's in the community, in Grape's white paper and the tokenomics and all that, that we have an 80% of the total supply that needs to be emitted. And correct me if I'm wrong, Wales, how much have we emitted from that 80%, which, by the way, the team has yet to send its Grape allocation to the Treasury. This also needs to happen.
So we've emitted about 180 million, 174, something like that.
So we have like 7 times more than that should have been emitted by now, more or less. 800 million, correct?
Not by now. The economics were for 10 years.
So by now, how much should we have emitted?
By now, we should have been at around where we are. Now, I'm including what we've minted and actually added in the treasury, in the Realms treasury, which is not distribution. So let me check how much this has.
Yeah, and that's
and that's the right number. Give me a second.
Because the minting part is one thing, but the distribution is the other. So like 80% roughly should be in the hands of the community and not in the DAO treasury. Like there's a difference.
Indeed. Give me a second to open all my documents and I'll give you an exact number in a couple of minutes.
I added the numbers I pulled when I made the overview, so it's like 63 million should be for the community right now, like 60%, not 80. My bad. And we have something in the treasury, but the question would be what percentage already has been distributed.
So, which month are we from in the existence of Grape? We are. Let me find. So about 400 million should have been emitted in total, together with private investors, original team, etc., etc. More specifically, 393 million grapes should have been emitted. And at the moment, we have slightly over 100 million in circulation, excluding the treasuries. So we are about a quarter of the way there.
How much, let's say, Grape are we behind in the amount that we should have emitted so
About
far?
300 million.
300 million. And we're discussing about 50, yeah?
Yep. Yeah, but guys, like I made this plan, and I'm the one telling you that this is the wrong plan. like trying to go with those tokenomics and make sure we obey the 500 million, the 5 million emissions per month is a bit crazy. I mean, I don't think it's the right way. Again, it didn't work. So the tokenomics are not very, like, they could be.
Okay. Guys,
I don't want to open another chapter.
Honest question on this topic. Is Grape or Grape Labs or whoever somehow beholden to this tokenomics? I mean, could
Grape
we
Labs,
even change
no,
it
that's the
if
funny
we
thing.
wanted to?
The original team has not been taking any grape. We've already donated to the community those grape, and donated to the community. It's not donated. It's given the ability to distribute them as they think it's right. So I don't think I should be getting 2 billion grape a month because I was, what I was doing 1.5 years ago. So I don't think Grape Labs has any say on this. It's 100% the DAO.
Okay, so we could change these tokenomics if we wanted to.
In my mind, yes. We've already changed them by not following them.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting, but definitely a whole other topic.
Yep. But the original answer is we are a quarter of the way. We've emitted 100 million, and the circulating supply should have been about 390 million. So we're missing 290 million grape. And yeah, we're talking about 50, and we can't really decide. It's good.
So the elephant in the room is that there are many voices among us, and many of us are thinking the same thing, that if we emit that grape, there is a high chance that much of that grape is going to get dumped. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Am
but
I
do we
sensing
really
this
care?
right?
Do we really care?
Exactly. That was my next point. Do we really care? And with a couple of people in the community having such a ginormous difference of governance power compared to others, isn't it the most fair option to go through with emitting these big amounts of grape, given the fact that we have fallen behind and we need to have more equal power and more, equally loud voices among our community?
Yes,
Because for me,
100%. I agree with
that's
you,
a
Tak.
big problem.
But
It's a big problem.
in my mind, there is this issue of the council token that just completely derails this thought of fairness and amplification of voice and all these things. I know maybe again this is a different topic, but can we really have a decentralized decision-making system if council tokens can be minted and distributed at will from those that hold them? I know that burning council tokens is a super scary move because it goes towards a Wild West scenario where anybody that has enough grape can actually steal the treasury. But if we don't experiment, who's going to experiment?
But that's not our issue right now.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's not about like trying things out.
Yeah.
It's about what we or how we want to distribute or how we can distribute to our community and not nuke our DAO. It's not about giving up control about the DAO.
My point is the contradiction of amplifying voices versus having few members having veto ability.
That's correct.
For example, I am not interested in grape coins if there are council tokens. I'm trying to put it extremely because I think there is no point of me having voice that can be vetoed. Like, why would I care?
But there is no instance so far that
Yeah, but in my mind, the theoretical only.
The game theory suggests that it is.
Yeah.
It's a game theory around
Implicitly, you are telling us you do not trust the people with council tokens.
No, then that's the wrong way of taking it. That's absolutely the wrong way, because I am holding council tokens, Dean, Archimedes, and the rest of the people that I've worked so much with. But I don't see anybody else wanting Grape. It's not me. Like, I'll be here even if Grape goes to up to -1. But we're not talking about me and you. We're talking about new people that want to get their hand.
But then you automatically need to pose the question: why should they acquire Grape? Where's the benefit for them to have Grape? And if it's not exploiting the DAO, then you can participate in Grape without holding Grape. So it's not about us releasing control or like a safety, giving up a safety net to get people into holding Grape, because there is no benefit in holding Grape except for exploiting anything. And if we lose the option to save the DAO from like an exploit or something like that, or like an attack that we can't imagine right now, where is the point for anyone to hold?
I do not disagree that it's an extremely tough topic to discuss, and the solutions are maybe unintuitive. No, we don't see them, and I didn't say it's easy. I'm just saying that the veto ability is killing this kind of notion of decentralization.
Yeah, but it's not as if we are like the UN and the Security Council, where one or the other, like China, Russia, or whoever, or the US, is vetoing constantly something, and we are in a deadlock. We never had any issues in regards to the council tokens, right? So
yeah, but
why should this be a
nobody
priority
has
for
really,
us to
has really
abolish?
tried anything radical. Nobody.
Yeah, but where is the
anything.
benefit for us that someone tries something radical?
I mean, doing stuff is
I
better
think
than not doing stuff.
I think that the benefit lies into the make the ability to try radical stuff available.
Yeah, but I
think that's the point.
The most likely outcome would be like us being a DAO that is mentioned in Rect Plebs because someone exploited it and is posting on Twitter about it. Right. Because we don't have a council token. It's like, what?
Yeah, and so talking about council tokens before we've gotten to the point of distributing any of the Grape is silly, in my opinion. It's not something we should even be considering. It's nice that we could talk about it, and I'm totally okay, discussing ideas. But at the end of the day, we should care about Grape being dumped for one sole purpose. The DAO becomes vulnerable when Grape becomes cheap enough where someone can attack and buy enough Grape to seize the treasury. And without council tokens, we have no backup plan for that. Without enough people in the community that are trustworthy and have contributed over time that hold enough Grape to counter that.
And active. They need to be active.
Correct. So, in my opinion, for the sake of risk, because the council token holders thus far have shown goodwill, good track record, there's been no vetoing, there's been nothing that has been anything against a proposal that was not malicious, right? We even went through an entire execution phase of planning and a scenario where we had this backup contingency on what would we do if the DAO was attacked, right? The council token is important to that right now. And until the Grape token is distributed, I would rather focus on the distribution of the Grape token, the mechanisms in which we lock it or provide it and access to it for voting, and or whether or not the users get it. If people dump it, we have to be cognizant of the fact that that's an attackable event on the DAO. And there's 500,000 USD in the DAO treasury today. It will cost less than that for somebody to attack the DAO. That's what we're saying when we say dumping. I don't care about the token price going up. What I do care about is a drastic drop that allows somebody that has not been part of this DAO to purchase enough Grape to come and put a proposal on chain and pass the vote themselves because they find it valuable.
Yeah, but at the same time, you don't give any kind of incentive to anyone at that level, at least, to want to own Grape.
Yeah, but
So
I don't
by
think getting rid of the
giving,
council token makes anybody want Grape more, guys. Let's be honest. It's an interesting philosophy.
That's my issue. Yeah.
But I
Because
don't think
you need to have
a
a benefit.
Grape got rid of their council tokens. Let's all go get Grape now. I don't think anybody's waiting on the sidelines that isn't malicious.
Yeah.
Do that, right?
If
anything,
the only
sorry,
way I see to provide value and to give people reasons to hold Grape is our product discussion.
Yeah.
What
Sorry,
kind of value do we provide to the ecosystem?
Sorry, Taki, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just trying to clarify that point because to me, it's a nice idea, but I don't think it's valid. Like, it's not like I'm waiting to buy more Grape because we have council token. Once the council tokens go away, then I'm going to buy more Grape. I'm not thinking of it that way, personally. I can see the viewpoint of someone who does, but I doubt that there are people out there that are waiting to join Grape as soon as these they don't even know what council tokens are.
Dynite makes a valid point. Yeah, exactly. The only people who know about the council tokens are in this room right now. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, that's all I had to say. Sorry, I'll jump back off, but I definitely wanted to recenter the discussion around what I think we need to accomplish before we can even start that discussion. I'm not saying we shouldn't discuss it. I'm just saying I think we need to figure out the other challenges first before we can even start that discussion. That's all. Thank you, guys.
Ryder, you said something. What I wanted to respond to something you said, but I forgot what you said. What did you say? Like 30 seconds ago.
Huh? How do you mean?
You just before Archimedes ended at his what you were saying. You were saying something, and I forgot
Okay,
about
yes,
that because
I said that we have to give people reasons to buy Grape and to provide a benefit to the ecosystem.
Product.
Yes,
Product.
and that
So
only way I see us doing that is through product.
So the only value in Grape is our product, you think?
It is not the only value. We also have our community, but I think we can have a much higher value for people with a product or for the entire ecosystem, because let's be real, you only have in your day time to be part of maximum like 3 communities, but you can use many tools each day, and each tool provides you value. Each tool is a product.
If we were to measure value, how would you measure value right now? Value provided to the ecosystem, to the DAO, to the treasury, to the community. How would you measure that value?
Measuring value is an open research question. Yeah, it's not answerable. No.
Would you measure it in income? Would you measure it in monetary value? Would you measure it in being the thought leadership on Solana around DAOs? What would it be? Which of these things that you would consider for being the value would be quantifiable? I'm getting somewhere with this, so please entertain.
Okay.
Not entertain, indulge.
Well,
what would you evaluate?
On one hand, I certainly think that the monetary value is important because we have some kind of expenses for operations. If we want to have a professional level of work, we need to pay people for that. And on the other hand, I think having like a voice, so in a community value or thought leader value, like you mentioned, is also important. And I think we are pretty far up ahead on that. But to impact more people outside of our close-knitted community, we need to make basically to put our ideas or our value proposition in a nutshell, and this nutshell is a product, and then we can very simply offer this product to the people. We can basically then take the product, hand it to Dynite, and off he goes.
Okay, but what kind of value have we seen from our product versus our community or anything else in the past?
Well,
Let's say
what is
6
our
months.
product? That's the first question.
Our products are GAN and Grape.art, I think, unless I'm missing something. So, what
I
kind
can't
of
speak on
value
Grape.art.
has it been? Has it been monetary value? Has it been any kind of income stream to the DAO? Has it been any thought leadership? Versus what kind of value have we brought through social tokens, Grape back tokens, for example? The only type of income or revenue that has come in the DAO or a measurable benefit to the DAO has been Grape absorbed from the market through the form of social tokens that we've had in the past 6 months, or any type of grants that have been returned to the treasury. For example, the YouTube grant that Jaris did before the holidays, I think.
Yeah, and
So,
to be quite frank, I think this is the result of, to be very frank here, of abysmal management and lack of leadership. We basically have no real product. We have no marketing plan. The whole gun tokenomics are so fucking broken that I spoke up about this when we had the conversation about that. That how many people you need to have to pay for the gun token that makes any monetary sense. But hey, I'm just a guy with a keyboard, right? But if you asking me honestly about my opinion on product and value and economics, I'm telling it to you. And that's also the reason why I'm happy that finally somebody is stepping up and taking over leadership and responsibility, as you are doing.
thank you, man. But the point I'm trying to make is that we have to be honest and start to think where we're good at and where we're not so good at. And we should focus our efforts, our energy, our time, the money we spend to that. At least that's my opinion.
I don't think
But
it's
I think
that we are.
it's
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. I don't think it's that we are essentially bad at doing like product or something like that and good at doing grants. It's more like we didn't really try. We didn't know structured and concerted effort to make a product.
Yeah, fair enough. But what do we do from now? I mean, I'm the type of person that I'm trying to look forward and not backwards. That, of course, might mean that sometimes mistakes of the past are repeated. I don't like to do that either. But what can we do right now with the arsenal of tools that we have in our hands, with the people that are around, with whatever we have left? I think these are the things that we need to start focusing moving forward and try to create as much as value as possible as we can through that.
Yeah, and
I would be more than happy, if we had, our product has been strong as Grape Access was, I don't know, 18 months ago, but it's not. Grape.art, we don't even know what's happening with Grape.art. So are we going to spend our energy and resources in trying to figure out what's happening without being able to figure out what's happening? Or are we going to focus in creating value somewhere else? For example,
yeah, but that we don't know. That we don't know what's happening with Grape.art. That's again a different topic. My opinion on this is that we basically have to figure out what our product should be and what it can do. And I think very good. Not even a first, but a second step is the process Pause has laid out and wants to get started with soon.
Okay, I don't want to hold up any more time in this discussion. I think I've made my point, and thank you for sharing your thoughts as well, Ryder. And I think it's a good time now to to hear what Paul has to say, what he wants to share.
Yeah, it's a good segue, because I thought about how we should achieve what we really need. It's not about us talking about random stuff and having like a one brainstorming and then like making decisions that are like on an ad hoc basis, but we need to figure out, and for this example it's grape.art, what we really want to achieve. So I made a board, and we definitely, for this, we need Kirk. There is no way around it, because he's the one who put in all the work and has maybe a vision of he wants to do, but then again he also stated most time and again that we should be the ones who give him feedback and input and like direction. So he's like constantly saying that the DAO should like come up with ideas. So that's what I try to focus on. Like I don't know whether you guys are looking at the board right now. It's not about doing the tasks now, but I want to like show you what I thought about and how I envision us talking about these issues. So like for me, it's like a 4-part like process. It's first a reflective view on what we have, what we learned, what we explored with Grape.art, how the members who will be part or want to be part of those sessions are thinking about Grape.art, what they might envision, and we need to like distill that then in regards to the product or a possible product that we can come up with, and then focus on what steps are necessary in order to create the product, and we need to prioritize. So those are my four steps, and I like reiterated the process a couple of times and thought about how we can achieve it. And now I wanted to talk with you guys about how we want to continue with it, because I can just like make a doodle entry and like ask when everybody has time to talk about it. But as I said, we of course need Kirk, and maybe some members who want to take part in the process who already thought about certain things, because Potrock, you most likely will know that like any kind of workshop that has no or where members don't like prepare always take a lot more time. So best would be that people think about like at least the first part in regards to grape art, and like I can also give like a questionnaire or something like that, but it's like I think a bit too limiting. I want to find people who are willing to like put in some work in advance so that we can have good results at the end, because otherwise it's like it will take us a day or something like that to come to a place where we are happy with. I thought like each session could last 2 hours roughly. That's my idea so far. And now I
sounds
bored
good.
you to death.
No. Butter already wrote in chat that
Yeah, I
he's
saw
in.
that. Awesome. Yeah, what you guys can do is like go to the Miro board and like either I can make an area where everyone who wants to take part has their own space and can dump some ideas. But I think it's important that we at least prepare a bit, because otherwise we don't have like any meaningful results. And so my idea is for the first session to talk like about the retrospective part and the first step of the story mapping. So it's like thinking about what have we done with grape art so far, and then about, okay, what can we make out of that? So like I chose the method, the 4 L's, so the like, learned, lack, and longed for. So you can apply that to grape art, and especially the parts learned and longed for. From them we can derive some form of vision idea for the product itself, and this would be then the conclusion of the first meeting, so that we come to an idea of what's the vision, the target group, the needs, the product itself, and the business goals. And it's important to have those in mind. So either we say like there are specific goals, or like at least to have a rough idea. And then the second session would be like drilling it down in regards to the product ideas, and then the prioritization at the end, and then an outlook and the next steps. It's always important to have those. And I think for both sessions we need Kirk. It's essential.
Yeah. I especially like that you include the retrospective to have like a history and how all of this developed, because what we're trying to do is basically an organizational change project. That's always important to include the retrospective. And on the other hand, I also like that you included specific steps forward for each meeting.
Yeah, I as I said, I focused on like the structure of how we can come to something that is like tangible, because we tend to have sessions and like feel good in doing something, but most of the time it's more like that we are talking a lot and coming to good conclusions, but it takes so much time. And I thought maybe if we structure it a bit more, and I made like I know those tools from other workshops, so they usually work very, very well, and I can imagine that this also works for grape.art.
Yeah.
If you have any suggestions what we could add, or like I know it's hard to do this out of the blue, but if I also try during the sessions, we can modify anything. But if you see something that is missing, please say so. Yeah, and the next step would be like maybe a post on Discord or Discourse, who's interested, and can like put down some thoughts in advance. And as I mentioned, we need to find a time where Kirk is available.
Yeah, we have been missing both Billy and Kirk the last 2 weeks. I saw
Yeah.
today and last week.
Butter is on point, yeah. No, in all honesty, I think it's important that we like not only have something on a recording somewhere, but to really write things down and like get into the details.
You could maybe tidy up your frames on that mirror. It's pretty big and you only have 4 frames, all of them at Grape Art.
My frames?
Yeah, the frames on mirror for navigation. Because when I opened the link, I was thrown into an empty part of the mirror.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I need to change the board settings.
The goat is calling for wrapping it up.
Probably his wine bottle is empty right now.
The wine bottle is empty.
He has a little bell that he's ringing. Last round, last round. Bring out your dead. Bring out your dead. That's a Monty Python joke. You're too young to know.
Of course. No.
Ah.
But a flesh wound.
Okay, so pause. When are you thinking of having this first session?
Yeah, as I said, it comes down to whenever Kirk is available, but maybe next Saturday, so at the weekend. I don't know how people are available during the week, but we can like make a poll for that.
I personally would much prefer during the week. Personally.
Yeah, it's important that people have time, right? It's hard. So I know that it's hard to get everyone together. It's nearly impossible for the most part, but it's not something you can like redo a couple of times and then like come to a shared conclusion. It's like a bit like Butter said. So it's either you're there or hold your peace. Like it's
But
because
you don't get
it's complex.
But it is a one-on-one session, isn't it?
No.
Oh, it's a group session.
Yeah, it needs to be a group
okay.
session. You can't do it. But good question. You can't do it in a one-on-one session. It's
well, then we
not
should
doable.
Should do the whole scheduling thing with when do people have time at which on which days and what UTC times.
Yeah.
If you need to have it a group session, I thought it would be one-on-one.
One-on-one with Kirk.
And then how do we learn what happened?
Dude.
What happened?
Yeah, it's too hard. You need to. It's a group thing, and like the times I put there are estimates, and it will probably take longer, knowing us and having done a couple of workshops. So it's like, yeah, it will take longer, but I don't see us doing more than 2 sessions. Yeah. but you can't do it one-on-one and then like inform people about it. It's for example the retrospect part and like giving input or getting input from people that already are using grape.art or have used it. It's highly important because it's not like a car or like a product that is like its purpose is easy or it's like something that doesn't need to be discussed. Yeah, next I will write Kirk, and then we can see when he has got time, and then yeah, probably make the first session or a poll for the first session.
What's the maximum deadline for this?
It can be done in a week. It's not that it's not something that is highly complex. It's certainly stressful and takes a lot of energy, but
I think the scheduling is the most difficult part, isn't it?
yeah, and then like deriving some action items. This would be like essentially a third session, but this can also be done in writing. So it's not necessarily something you need to do with people attending. But this process aims to have actionable items at the end. So I think we should like have session 1 done before next DAO call on Sunday. This would be my take on it. Does this answer your question, Taki?
Yes, thank you.
Awesome.
Okay. I think we should really wrap it up now.
Yes, we didn't get enough time for Nanko to say his piece. Is he here or he left? He left. Typical Nanko. Legend, I hope you're recording, so he can listen to that. So yeah. No, you're not recording?
I am.
Hit the recording button.
Have you been recording for the past hour? Or have you been recording for the past 30 seconds?
Past 2 hours.
And past 2 hours, great. And I suppose Dynite is also keeping minutes to have a good wrap up.
Or is that now a task of Dynite?
Yes, it has been a task for Dynite, yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, he posted in DAO chat. I was quite surprised how extensive of a write-up he produced.
Bullish on Dynite.
Oh, he posted it already. Bullish, super bullish on the goat. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so for Tuesday we have to chime in the discussion for the phones, the criteria. Hopefully we have a date for Cryptoposes sessions. I'm really looking forward to this. And what else? If Nanko listens to this recording, share your Signally proposal in some way so that we can read it. And like I said, guys, let's not limit ourselves into these, weekly calls. There's tons of stuff that we can do in between. I know everybody's time is precious, so let's try to make the most of it in between the calls.
Agreed. Bye bye, everybody.
Have a good one.
Hi, everybody. Have a great Sunday.